Tim Seeley, Sarah Beatty, and Mirka Adolfo pit the Man of Steel against the main man as Lobo's holiday is disrupted by a monster, and thanks to Superman's timely intervention and praise he gets from the people, he decides he's going to take out his anger on the last son of Krypton. Tim Seeley and Sarah Beatty take what easily could have been a few issues of two superpowered beings beating each other up over a bunch of different planets and turn it on its head, using Superman and Lobo's story as a platform to discuss the dangers of social media and how outrage news and clickbait rule the internet and shape people's minds. I thoroughly enjoyed the exploration of this through these two characters and how they both approach the idea of social media, and I like the idea that Lobo, even in this issue, reiterates that yeah, people just see him as like the big tough guy who beats people up, but he's a bit more than that, and he's actually quite smart and like a genius level intellect, so of course he's going to be able to manipulate social media on Earth to his gain. The issue isn't all of that though, and there's a great sci-fi plot with this sort of godlike being that ends up putting Superman and Lobo back into their respective pasts on their planets, except switching them, so Superman ends up on Zarnia, Lobo ends up on Krypton, which is quite intriguing, but the highlight of the issue has to have been the humor. The book was filled with some really great jokes and just making fun of the whole clickbait outrage influences and just the ridiculous shit that some people come up with for views and clicks. Mirka Andolfo covers Seeley and Beatty's words in some great looking colourful artwork and really played off Lobo and Superman's dynamic and how polar opposites the men are with their respective colours and how they act and everything. So when Lobo's doing stuff, it's mainly all sort of blacks and greys and whites and stuff, and Superman, he's bright and colourful and everything. The real standout was how Andolfo draws just standard character interactions and drama, which most of the issue is. It was always really engaging and good to look at and really easy to follow what's going on. Superman vs. Lobo issue 1 was a really wonderful different take on the classic versus storyline, filling it out with some great meta commentary on social media and clickbait, really funny jokes and humour, and a great sci-fi infused plot that is only just getting started. I'm going to give this issue a 10 out of 10. Superman vs. Lobo issue 1 heads to the beginning of time where a voice says that something was birthed and in an instant a flood of amniotic forces buckled the fabric of space, sending stars into fits as it crawled from its celestial womb, unaware of the chaos that it had wrought. Soon though, the being found that it was the last of its kind, alone in the universe, so it left the universe and came to another one, and it chose a new form. One of a resilient and pervasive resident of the plane of existence, calling itself Newman. On present-day Earth, Clark Kent is told as a journalist they need to present more than one viewpoint, and that's why Perry expects him to do so in order to keep his job. Clark says that Lex, however, is lying about his new social media platform and how it works, since it blocks all posts that criticize him, his company, and his interests, but it lets misinformation through like a leaky sieve. He knows that he needs to note that in the article, but Perry tells him two things. One, no one knows what a sieve is anymore, and that truth is relative now, and they leave it up to the reader to make that determination about the accuracy of what people say, and if they start telling people who to believe, then they will drop the Daily Planet and get their news right from the Lexa app. Perry also knows whatever Lex says gets clicks as well, and they need them to keep the lights on. Clark excuses himself into the supply closet for staples, yelling in frustration as Lois and Jimmy come by, asking if Clark is trying to swear again. Lois says he is, and he's failing at it, wondering if he should try one of these inflatable exercise balls, since the material perfectly muddles the sound of his existential crisis. Clark knocks over some paper, stopping to pick it up as Martian Manhunter telepathically contacts him, finding his mind quite tense. Clark says it's okay since he's always got time for Martian Manhunter. The hero says that Cord Industries and Star Labs launched a joint detection array system to find space distress signals, and now the crew of the station is in danger. Clark is already on it, speeding out of the room as Perry chews out Jimmy for not doing anything useful, and Manhunter says that something has damaged the solar sail on the platform and it's being blown towards the gravity well of Jupiter. Clark races down the stairwell as Manhunter says that Batman suspects there is foul play aboard, and with the rest of the Justice League otherwise engaged, he hoped the hero was free. Clark says it's okay since Superman is on the job. At the resort planet Telk, a drug deal is going down, with the buyer deciding if he's going to buy any of the Khun's mind-altering substances. The man says that he isn't one for performing in front of an audience, as the woman, who is also in the room, tells him to pretend she isn't even there. The dealers open fire on her, saying that she looks like one of those members of legions. The woman teleports away, but soon teleports back, apologizing for the intrusion since she wants them to continue. She's not judging them for their crimes. The buyer knows that this has gotten a little too weird, passing on the drugs and angering the dealers who turn on the woman, wanting to get their money one way or another. The woman begins recording their ordeal, noting down her observations as suddenly the roof collapses in. Down by the pool, Lobo chills out as the Rumble spills his expensive fancy drink, knowing that he had to pull the intestines from 6 or 7 grunt holes to pay for this vacation. As he leaves to complain, rubble falls on more people, killing them, and Lobo knows any decent establishment would know this is a heinous grievance, and they will do what is right by a VIP like him. Lobo was told to take shelter by one of the waiters thanks to the catastrophe, but Lobo knows the only catastrophe here is his drink was spilt, wanting a new one or he'll take out the waiter. Suddenly, the waiter and Lobo's arm that he was holding the waiter with are crushed by debris, causing Lobo to have his arm pulled off. He can't believe the lack of respect the hotel has, demanding to see the manager since there is no way he's coming back to this turd tank hotel again. Soon he sees a giant monster above the city, knowing that this is the source of the unfortunate events around him. As his arm regrows back, he lights his cigar, knowing that he'll deal with this creature, wanting a terrified patron to grab his jacket and pants. The woman meanwhile confronts the giant tardigrade as well, but Lobo, riding an automatic shop sign, flies by, telling the monster that she'll make it a deal, since it spilled his drink, so he's gonna spill its guts. He smashes the monster in the side, injuring it as the woman begins observing Lobo, realizing that he's a Zarnian. Lobo asks if the woman is writing an encyclopedia or something, since she's killing his bashing buzz. The monster manages to swat Lobo down into the building below, as back near Earth, Superman finishes up with the space station, finding that one of the astronauts committed sabotage thanks to being jealous of 2 of his teammates' romantic relationships. Clark knows that he owes Batman another one for calling it as that, as the station alerts the group to the planet Telk in the Vega system being under attack. Superman wants to help, but is told that's 16.7 light years away, and he knows he can't get there quick enough, but the astronauts say the wormhole the docs generate could cover that in an hour or less, but it only works in theory, not having been tested. Superman says it looks like they have their first test subject, as Lobo, meanwhile, tells the woman that she can't keep dodging his fists, but the woman knows that she can since she's got the latest gear and poof tube capabilities. She continues observing Lobo as he lashes out in anger at her for not warning him about the monster hitting him. The woman says that that would have been against her objectivity and standards of her profession, introducing herself as Dr. Samidia Flick, a biologist and wildlife photographer who is currently studying the behaviors of the Khund in consumer societies for a magazine. She says that her major in college though was studying single survivors of extinct species, having read all about the Zarnian genocide, and she's very excited to meet Lobo. Lobo tells her to get in line as one of the robots from the store he crashed into turns into a woman from the Zarnian race, saying that it can be a friend to help him enjoy the sand and sun. Lobo kills the robots as Flick continues her observation on the main man and his physique. A Ferris wheel begins to fall thanks to the tardigrade attacks, and people call for help, but Lobo picks up the attraction, throwing it back at the monster. Luckily, Superman arrives, saving the Ferris wheel before confronting the monster, introducing himself and telling it not to be afraid, seeing the fear in its eyes, as he knows this wasn't its choice. The monster speaks to him and Superman can understand it, telling it that he knows it's the only one of its kind around and it's scared and confused, but with the right person to help it, it will be fine. Lobo finds Superman, saying that he should have known the hero would have shown up to ruin the fun. He tells the hero he's wasting his time as guidance counselor, and that's what the difference is between both of them, since he doesn't do anything half-assed. He says he does everything full-assed as he shoves a giant neon tree sign up the tardigrade's ass, saying now it's a fancy drink, as the being shouts its name Newman, teleporting away. Lobo falls towards the city, surprised the thing talks, hoping the moon doesn't hit it on its way out, as Superman grabs Lobo, as the main man proclaims the day is saved and they make a hell of a team. Superman drops the bounty hunter on the ground as Lobo knows his heat vision would have come in handy in assassinations of royalty and scourging the universe. He hopes the hero can light his cigar with it since the monster sprung a leak all over him when he hit him with the neon sign. Superman sits silently as Lobo continues talking, telling him to use one of the robots to enjoy the sand and sun with one of his own species, since he must be very lonely. Superman blasts him with his heat vision, shutting up the man as later, Lobo awakens to Flick checking him over, knowing she's quite lucky to have found two lone survivors of different races. She says the Kryptonian Lobo talked to is celebrated across the planet, but Lobo wonders about himself, being shown the scene of Superman hitting him with the heat vision. Lobo knows this is biased coverage since he did most of the work, so why is Superman getting all the credit? The Doctor says that it's because Superman's compassion and selflessness and boyish charm are there since he's so easy to love. Lobo isn't too happy about this, telling the woman to head to Earth to keep studying Superman since soon he's going to settle up with a hotel and he's going to hire himself and he's going to go and kill Superman. Back on Earth, Superman saves a woman from a rampaging turtle boy as in the present, Clark sees a new hashtag named No Thanks Superman is trending, saying Superman saved the woman and various others from getting crushed by Jimmy's giant scales. Jimmy says that being changed into a giant turtle boy didn't cure his dandruff, but Kat says it didn't enlarge his self-esteem either. Lois tells Kat to back off since if it wasn't for Superman, Jimmy would still be a rampaging monster. Kat is glad that he's normal since now she can kick him while he's down. Lois knows that Clark and the lady Superman saved isn't alone and the hashtag is blowing up on Lexa, with many people getting upset Superman never asked them for consent when saving them, or that his powers make people sterile, dubbing themselves as anti-savers. Lois knows that Lex's app is fueling his Superman hate and there is a story there, wanting to shine a light on it in the front page of the Daily Planet, and she can boost it with a reaction video on LexTube. Clark is surprised that Lois has a Lexa account, but Lois says it's for research and she'll eventually delete it. He rushes off to dig things up as she asks Jimmy to contact some of the anti-savers and get some statements, and Jimmy is more than happy to do anything to help Superman since he owes him one for stopping him as Turtle Boy. Lois tells Clark to get the man on the street view, wondering why he isn't paying attention, so Clark says maybe this is one of those both sides of the story things Perry was talking about, since he knows Superman can take a little criticism, and maybe there are some valid points and most people in Metropolis appreciate what Superman is doing. He knows that Lois feels strongly about Superman and he's sure Superman can handle not winning a popularity contest, since things are only important as they make them, and what's important now is Toyman's trial tomorrow, and by then people will see Lexa for what it is and it'll all blow over. He wants to leave it to the bots, as Lobot meanwhile works on one of the robot women that he took from Telk, one of the women who was also an anti-saver. He says that he's buying stock in the Beachbody Corporation since the bots are high quality for a low price. Dr. Flick reminds him that he stole about 100 of these so it doesn't get lower than free. Lobo gets the robot to go back out into the world, wanting it to stir up more shit for Superman to deal with. Flick continues her observations as Lobo continues working, knowing he won't be giving himself his old self-congratulatory ritual now since she's ruined the spontaneity of it. He knows being the main man is a dope rush for the ladies, wondering why she hasn't OD'd yet, so the woman says that this is too good of an opportunity to pass up, citing how two soul survivors from different species interact with a neutral society gives her a rush. Lobo wishes that she would have her reactions elsewhere, asking if she's got some guy waiting for her back on Telk. Flick reminds him that she is just studying him, not the other way around, and he needs to get back to explaining his plan. Lobo says that she knows what everyone is saying about Superman, but everyone thinks that he is dumber than a sack of hammers, hearing them whisper it before he puts the bar stool through their larynxes. He knows because he punches first, they think he's some sort of oxymoron, but he isn't since he engineered a new animal in kindergarten to make sure his planet died painfully. He knows when it comes to hurting people, he's a renaissance man, welcoming Flick to the hashtag Superman is over party. Elsewhere at a Metropolis courthouse, Winslow Schlott is told by his lawyer how this is going to work, telling his client to plead innocent, but the media and people are there, so he can't be weird and talk about kids or toys or use his weird baby voice. Toyman blows a raspberry at the man as he is led inside. The lawyer's phone, meanwhile, is covered with some sort of purple dust from Winslow, as in the crowd, Lois says that Clark was right. This is a big story and there are people who know this is a real bad guy when they see one. Suddenly all of the crowd's phones begins buzzing as Toyman says that they are imprisoning him like how they imprison their children. He continues his rant as Lois says her phone is moving in her bag. Suddenly all of the phones spring to life, spitting out multicolored tentacles as Toyman knows that they can now all play. Clark ducks out and returns as Superman, destroying all of the phones as Flick finds it took him exactly 237 microseconds to follow the nanomachine virus and where it came from. that being Toyman. Clark says that he's seen that woman on Telk, as she says that she is just observing, while Superman returns to the courthouse, smashing up the cameras and destroying Toyman's deadly toys. One of Lobot's robots begins going off about how they are gluten intolerant, wanting to see the manager, and malfunctioning as Superman recognizes that she's not a toy, but a robot from Telk. Superman tells the boy he saved that he can help him find his father, but the boy says that his father thinks that Superman is an evil alien who is trying to pacify the Earth and force them into peace so they can be invaded. He doesn't want to be saved as his father finds him, told not to look at the commie space vampire that Superman is. Toyman breaks out laughing as Superman leaves with the Telk robot, demanding Flick tell him where Lobot is. Flick again reminds Superman that she actually isn't there and is just observing, so Superman says he'll find Lobo himself. Lois calls out to Superman, telling him that she should really see what's on her backup phone. Jimmy asks where Clark is as Lobo meanwhile addresses the people through his LexTube channel, telling people to be honest about who they are, wanting the people to like and subscribe. Superman smashes through the roof, asking what the bounty hunter is up to, so Lobo says this is what happens when you take a state-of-the-art memento genetic assimilation matrix and rapid personality assumption and connect it directly to the computer of the Space Hog and download the entire contents of the Lexa app into it. Lobot says that he has a robot with a brain dictated by popularity of every entitled trend. He also reveals that he started his own LexTube page, but unlike Superman, he says things people want to hear. He tells the people that he doesn't owe anyone nothing, and the idea of not having any responsibility to others is right. Lobo blows some cigar smoke into Superman's face, telling him that he's going down while Lobo is going up, and before he lasers his face off again, he needs to remember that there's cameras for the Bobo show watching him, wondering if he wants to tell everyone watching why he's holding the body of a woman, and how many people's privacy he violated with his X-ray vision while looking for Lobo. Checking social media, Lobo hopes to find another Superman is over party hashtag trending, but instead finds a Lobo is over hashtag is trending, all thanks to Lois Lane, who is using her LexTube account as she releases a video that has photo evidence that Lobo keeps wild space dolphins in captivity. And not only that, she knows that Lobo isn't a true American patriot like he thinks, having a video of Lobo drunkenly going off about America in a Gotham bar and peeing on the flag. Lois knows that this isn't the man the people want their children watching, hoping the viewers agree with her, as next time they'll discuss whether Lobo called Star Wars totally inaccurate or not, signing off from her show. Jimmy says that they got 50,000 likes already, as Batman says she's frightfully skilled at this, and Lois says that she only uses her powers for good, thanking Batman for his Batcam footage. Batman says that he always keeps track of Lobo when he's on Earth, having seen many disturbing things. Flick meanwhile writes down some new notes as Lobo isn't happy Lois Lane got the better of him, ordering his robots to kill her, but Superman punches him down, telling him he's leaving the planet and Green Lanterns will pick him up outside of Earth's orbit. Lobo knows the Lanterns have tried to hold him before and it's never worked out, and it doesn't change things since he knows he's an influencer and Superman's own people listen to him over the hero, and that's gotta hurt more than kryptonite. Flick suddenly shouts out as a noise thumps on the roof, having heard about these Earth's traditions. Superman knows it isn't Santa like she thinks, as more robots have arrived on the roof, having been infected by Winslow's virus as they chant the hashtag cancel Lobot and Superman, making up a bunch of rumors that both men are evil and make puppies into quesadillas. The robots merge and unleash their weapons, attacking Superman, who knows that the robots are infected with Toyman's virus from the courthouse. Lobo smashes up some, knowing that he'll just deal with them like he does any other henchman. Manhunter contacts Superman, with Firestorm reporting strange women attacking him in New York, claiming he's withholding a cure for cancer and has transmuted Elvis into Michael Bolton. Superman knows that the bots are spreading like the plague as Lobo cheers for the chaos. Superman knocks him out of the way of the cameras, taking over them and talking to the people directly, saying that there are a lot of lies going around and lies are breeding anger, and that anger spreads from Lexa to the streets and becomes physical. He knows he can't stop this with his fists or fight this alone, so the people need to save them all by putting something positive out into the world, be it an image of love or unity, or write a good review or give a compliment. Superman wants everyone to take care of each other as Lobo continues battling the robots, but suddenly they are all filled with positive vibes from the social media they are connected to. Superman tells Lobo they aren't running on hate anymore, and it's too bad he can't say the same about the bounty hunter. Suddenly, all of the robots are obliterated as Flick says she was going to let them get back to it, but she wants to know what's happening. A being's voice says that obliterating the robots was the least it could do, apologizing since it still hasn't gotten the scale right. It increases its size, and the being is revealed to be Newman, the tardigrade from before on Telt. Lobo recognizes it, but knows that there was a lot more of him when he shoved the palm tree up its ass. The being recalls thanking him for the forceful actions since in his transition between his original form and this one, he had to shed several million physical dimensions and he lost track of scale and seemed to scare those he encountered. Newman says that Lobo of Krypton helped him with the poke, and the kind words of Superman of Zarnia cleared his mind long enough to regain his bearings. Lobo tries to correct the being regarding their names and birthplaces, but the being introduces himself, saying like them he is the last of their world, which Flick is excited about. Newman says that it knows what profound loneliness is like as it tries out some of the nearby pizza, wanting to help out Superman and Lobo, hoping that they enjoy their reward. The two men are teleported away and Flick asks where they went, so Newman says that he used his power to restore their lost planets and sent them there as he too leaves. Flick, however, asks Newman if he said Superman of Zarnia and Lobo of Krypton, as Superman finds himself on the restored Zarnia and Lobo finds himself on the restored Krypton.